He's the star tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. He's Kyle Rudolph, and a proud alum of Elder High School. I did some research on you, Kyle, and I have been there for an Elder football game. What did they do? They split it. Is it like 50-50? Do they do that in the crowd with money? Do you remember that?
Oh, the split the pot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a big deal, especially you get about 12,000 people in there, and I think that's what people look forward to most. Not the game, but how high the split the pot will get.
And I remember seeing Kuechly in high school, and I went, that guy seems like he's all over the place there. He's pretty good. And then he went to Boston College. I sort of lost track of him. Whereas I remember you were a great basketball player. I remember more of you for basketball than I do football. How close was it that you were going to play basketball in college?
It's something that I think back to as a 16-year-old kid. I always tell people, it kind of just worked out with football. I don't really ever remember making a decision or thinking to myself, choosing football over basketball because I loved both of them. I had so much fun playing basketball. I was fortunate enough to have scholarship offers both in football and basketball. But it's certainly hard for me to think back and say, oh, well, what if I would have picked basketball instead of football? Having been in Minnesota for almost 10 years and, being settled here, playing in one place for this long has been pretty cool.
If you didn't go to Notre Dame, where were you going?
I made my decision early in the recruiting process, but a lot of the other schools that I liked a lot were in the SEC, like Tennessee, Florida, LSU. My family was certain that I chose 4 hours from home, and they were able to come to every home game. And then, we played about 2 or 3 Big Ten schools every year as well, which was all within 3 hours of home.
I found out, don't you have a big tattoo of a lion on your chest?
Yes.
Okay, but you're in the division with the Lions.
I know. So my wife wouldn't let me get a panther. Obviously Elder is the Panthers.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't let me get a panther. So then I had to go back to the drawing board and do some research and figure out, what's important. It's actually funny. So before I wore purple at Elder, I went to an elementary school called Visitation, and we were the Visitation Vikings. So my life has come full circle. I'm now a Viking, and I wear purple.
And I still go back to the Panther thing. I'd have to talk to your wife about that. I think I'd rather you had a Panther than a lion, even though, but Kuechly might give you grief, though, if you go, oh, you got a Panther on there.
Yeah, so to finish the story, I did some research, and around the lion is a bunch of flowers, and it's the birth flowers of my daughters, my wife, and my mom. And the lion is a protector of the herd, so that's why we went with lion. Kind of the king, if you would, not because of the Detroit Lions.
He's Kyle Rudolph, the Vikings tight end. You got an update on Dalvin Cook's injury?
Oh, Dalvin's been battling all year. I mean, when you carry the ball as many times as he has, you get bumps and bruises. But he's a fighter, and we know Dalvin's going to do what he can to be out there each and every week.
What do you see different with Kirk Cousins?
I think the biggest thing about Kirk is we're doing things offensively to put him in comfortable situations. A lot of games played out. We got into situations where games turned into drop back passing games, drop back throwing the ball 38, 40, 45 times. And no matter how good your offensive line is, if your quarterback's dropping back to the same spot every single time, the rushers in this league are just too talented. And this year we've gotten back to running the football more, moving the pocket, making things a little bit more unpredictable for defenses and especially for rushers because they can't just pin their ears back knowing that the quarterback's going to be at a spot right behind the center and get there.
I know you got some spotty cell service here, so let me get the sponsor mention here. American Cancer Society Crucial Catch Program. Kyle's joining us on behalf of that. With the NFL minimum $10 donation, fans can win the experience of a lifetime at the Super Bowl. including the tickets to the game where they get to sit with a celebrity, get sideline passes, access to parties, and more. So fans can donate to win at crucialcatch.nfl.com. And Kyle, also the Vikings Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for the third straight year. Great stuff. Hope the family has a great holiday, and good luck the rest of the regular season and in the postseason.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure being on.
That's Kyle Rudolph.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.